Radio.
Beautiful morning to you this morning. This is Carnival Radio Breakfast Show, newspaper review segment, and I am Elizabeth Tessie Okemukuku. So this morning, as usual, as we do have on the program, we'll bring you newspaper headlines from the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Nation newspaper, and the Daily Post newspaper. And we have headlines such as Oyo APC governors aspirants meet over 2027 consensus deal. That is from the Punch newspaper. Then from the Nation newspaper, we have a headline that says Lagos rent hits 26.8 million yearly, says report. And on the Vanguard newspaper, 2027 INEC laying landmass to prevent us from fielding candidates. This is according to ADC. And from the Daily Post newspaper, we have power sector crisis, consumers, experts pick holes in Tinubu's 3.3 trillion legacy debt approval. So now we go into the news stories in details. The first one here says, the first one from the Punch newspaper says, in a tragic move aimed at consolidating unity ahead of 2027 governorship race in Oyo State, the wife of the former governor and Nigerian's ambassador designate to Austria, Mrs. Floral Ajimobi, on Monday hosted all key Progressive Congress governorship aspirants at her Ikoyi, Lagos residence. The gathering, according to newsmen, underscores the party's effort to present a united front and prevent internal crisis that could weaken its electoral chances. The meeting brought together a cross-section of influential APC figures, including the party's 2023 governorship candidate, Cecilin Folarin, former Deputy Governor Aderemi Olaniya, senators representing Oyo North and South District, Abdul Fattah Buhari and Sharafuddin Ali respectively. The meeting, which started at about 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., focused on achieving consensus around the party's 2027 governorship candidate. They, however, demanded that the selection process must be all-inclusive and transparent. This news was sourced from the Punch newspaper. Oyo APC governors aspirants meet over 2027 consensus deal. Still on the political scene, from the Vanguard newspaper, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) yesterday kept mum at the Opposition African Democratic Congress (ADC), accused it of laying landmass to stop it from fielding candidates in the 2027 polls. The electoral umpire was also silent on the 72-hour ultimatum given to it by ADCU to reverse its non-recognition of Senator David Mark, led National Executive Committee of the party, or face nationwide protest. This happened on a day that the media office of Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate and the leading contender for 2027, alleged a coordinated plot by the All Progressive Congress (APC) to stop Obi from getting on the ballot for 2027 polls. In a quick response, Mr. Abimbola Tuki, Special Advisor on Media and Communication Strategy to APC National Chairman Professor Natewa Yilwata, said the ruling party has no hand in the travails of the former Anambra State Governor and urged him to look elsewhere. This news was sourced from the Vanguard newspaper. 2027, INEC laying landmass to prevent us from fielding candidates, ADC. Move on to the Nation newspaper. Nigeria has emerged as one of the African most expensive rental markets, with Lagos ranking fourth as rising housing costs continue to place significant financial pressure on urban residents. A report titled "Average Rent of Two-Bedroom Apartments Across African Major Cities" highlights the trend, showing Lagos among the continent's costliest locations for residential accommodation. The ranking places Lagos behind Abidjan, Cape Town, and Accra, which occupy the top three positions, reflecting growing house demand and limited supply across Africa's leading cities. Other cities on the top 10 include Douala, Nairobi, Kigali, Dar es Salaam, Cairo, and Casablanca, underscoring a continent-wide rise in rental costs across major urban centers. According to the report by Fortran and Company, a luxury two-bedroom flat in Lagos prime area averages $19,379 annually, equivalent to $26.8 million. High neighborhoods such as Ikoyi, Banana Island, and Victoria Island continue to attract premium rents driven by limited land availability and sustained demand from affluent and experienced tenants. This news was sourced from the Nation newspaper. Lagos rent hits 26.8 million yearly, says reports. We are still on to the newspaper review segment of Carnival Radio Breakfast Show. And of course, we take this one from the Daily Post newspaper. Power sector crisis, consumer experts picks holes in Tinubu's 3.3 trillion legacy debt approval. Electricity consumers and experts have picked holes with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's recent 3.3 trillion settlement plan for the country's decade-old legacy power sector debt. This comes after presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga stated on Sunday that President Tinubu finally approved 3.3 trillion to settle legacy debt owed to GenCos. The announcement has generated mixed reaction in the past 48 hours, while the Association of Generation Companies of Nigeria questioned the approval of 3.3 trillion. Stakeholders have also raised concerns as how the decision would hurt the electricity supply challenge in Nigeria. The Chief Executive Officer of the APGC, Joy Ogaji, raised alarm over the parameter used by Tinubu's presidency to arrive at the 3.3 trillion verified legacy debt. She faulted the move, saying that the GenCos were not carried along. In another criticism, Arise anchor Osheni Rufai, in a post on X, described the 3.3 trillion as propaganda, comparing the announcement to an earlier statement made by the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, in March 2024. This news was sourced from the Daily Post newspaper. Power sector crisis, consumers experts pick holes in Tinubu 3.3 trillion legacy debt approval. And lastly, on the story we'll be taking for this morning, Carnival Breakfast Show newspaper review segment. The Oyo State Police Command says it will arraign a 23-year-old man, Emmanuel Usman, over the alleged rape of a 14-year-old girl in Ijebu Owo area of the state. Newsmen learned on Monday from a statement by the Oyo State Police Relations Officer, Abayomi Jimo, that the arrest followed a report by the victim. Jimo noted that the victim alleged that the suspect dragged her into an office where he had carnal knowledge of her without her consent. The PRO added that the victim also alleged that the suspect threatened her with their consequences should she disclose the incident to anyone. He added that the victim, however, defied the threat and reported to the police. This news was sourced from the Punch newspaper. Ondo man to face trials over rape of teenager. is where we'll call it a wrap for this morning newspaper review segment of the Carnival Breakfast Show. Before we go, a quick recap on our headlines. From the Punch newspaper, Oyo APC governor aspirant meets over 2027 consensus deal. Also, from the Vanguard, we have that 2027 INEC laying landmarks to prevent us from fielding candidates ADC. And from the Nation newspaper, Lagos rent hits 26.8 million yearly, says report. And from the Daily Post newspaper, Punch, power sector crisis, consumer experts big holes in Tinubu's 3.3 trillion legacy debt approval. Thank you very much for listening, for tuning in, and for staying tuned. Do not forget that you can always stay updated with the latest information by checking out our website at www.carnivalmedia.ng. Once again, I am Elizabeth Tersi Okemukuku. Do have a wonderful day.